Representative Jeff Cornilles, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing swimmingly, sir.
Good.
I have my espresso, which I know you said I don't need, but it makes me feel better every sip. So you're one of the state reps down in the Canyon County area, obviously, and Nampa is a big piece of your district, right?
Yeah, half of Nampa is my district.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot going on in that area, right? We have an enormous amount of growth. We have a lot of economic considerations. We have a housing market that was classically very attainable and has become less so now. Yep. We have questions about transportation because Nampa, down to the economic hub of, say, Micron or Boise is, a train wreck at certain times of the day. We have all of these things going on that really focus on, okay, how can Nampa better position itself as an attractive place to live that has an economic center, especially in comparison to, say, Caldwell or Meridian? Talk to me about what we're doing.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. But you're right. As I just explained to you off air, driving back and forth to Boise for 3 months in that traffic is a task. And driving back, I'll wait till 6, 7 o'clock at night just to come home because it doesn't take an hour and a half. So yeah, growth is big in Nampa, and it's hard to keep up with that. Our downtown needs some work, needs some love. The Idaho Center, as we all has had some issues in the past, and maybe we have an out now. But Nampa's been on a real growth spurt, and the homes in Nampa are amongst the highest in value-wise in the valley. So it's forcing a lot of people out, and it's making it unattainable for new people to come in, the younger people especially.
When I had Mayor Kling in, and she was talking about the conveyance of the Ford Idaho Center to potentially to CWI. Yeah. Can you give me because I didn't ask her 100% because I was like, oh yeah, the conveyance. It's like, as I'm an idiot sometimes. I'm like, I didn't really understand it, but I was just like, oh yeah, didn't make sense at all. But could you give me a kind of a rough breakdown of what the history of the center was and why this is a good idea for Nampa? Or why it's at least something that should be really, really considered.
It should be considered. Let's say that. That whole area of town was developed years ago as part of an urban renewal district. Say that first.
And that's where you take accumulated taxpayer funds to improve the infrastructure of a given kind of boundary to spur investment into that area.
So it's like growth.
Right. Because you're like, hey, maybe the gas lines are old or maybe the sewer lines are insufficient, but let's upgrade this and we will and then leave it alone and let the free market do what the free market's going to do. And that then spurs economic growth.
Yeah. And that's done. And that's done that. It's brought in a lot of auto dealers and other entities, hotels and restaurants, and it's done that. But the center itself has not actually made money for the city until just the last few years.
And the center is owned by the city?
Yes.
Okay. So did you guys pass a bond to build it or something of that nature?
It was part of the urban renewal district.
Oh, gotcha. And so it got paid through.
Yeah. That's how I understand it.
Gotcha. Okay. So the city owned this gigantic asset that was ostensibly a really good investment because you could bring people into the area for large, I've been to an event there. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. It's okay, then you eat dinner there and, you spend time there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fantastic facility.
Right.
It's getting older now, and there's some deferred maintenance because of our growth. Again, we're too busy growing our infrastructure and houses and roads and bridges and roundabouts and everything. And we haven't had enough to keep up on the deferred maintenance, on the maintenance of that. So now there's a lot of deferred maintenance, and it's an old building now. So the city came up with, and with CWI is how I understand it, that if they convey that property over to CWI, and the CWI has other avenues to raise money for that, so they can do the upkeep, they can do the upgrades. They want to expand a few things here and there, I understand, and fix HVAC systems and everything else, lighting, and make a bigger amphitheater, something like that. So there's a lot of stuff that they can do the city cannot do right now because of the growth is just hamstringing them in 1,000 other places.
And the CWI presumably would have their own utilization of
Yeah.
the center. So it's like, hey, we would actually benefit from this because like I need a gigantic room. What do you need it for? I don't know. But like, I don't know what CWI needs it for, but they might need it for other things that the city can't directly use it for. So they would be able to pick up the bill, but it makes sense to them because they're like, yeah, we get the utilization of this for these purposes. And that makes it worth it for us.
Right. And they'll still be able to, and that's exactly right. But they'll still be able to draw in the concerts, the rodeos, the monster trucks, the gun shows. I've been told specifically because I've asked, will we be able to get? Yes, we will be able to have gun shows still, which I'm a fan of. So,
Were people worried that it was going to be over?
Serious. I was asked that by a handful of people in the community, specifically about gun shows. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Oh, listen, man.
Yeah,
Just
gun shows are awesome.
Get it. Yeah, right there, baby. It's terrible, I know. So that's the idea with the conveyance of the Ford Idaho Center. That it's, hey, look, let's convey it over here. We can still hold the events that spur downtown, economic growth, but CWI will also get this added benefit. And because they get that added benefit, it's worth it financially for them to take on the liability and responsibilities associated with maintenance.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does to me, but I haven't completely dove into all the numbers and the weeds, nor do I really want to be honest. That's for them to figure out and for the rest of us to oversee, obviously. But they'll work that out. But they need to get the public more involved from my perspective.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the benefit of having something like that and bringing people into the area, there are surrounding areas that have kind of economic and attractive centers, right? Like Caldwell, for instance, has Indian Creek Plaza, and they have people committed to lining up and promoting events at Indian Creek Plaza all day long. Shout out, Marcy. Like you have people that are really, they understand the value of Indian Creek Plaza and they want more economic activity there. You have things that are similar in Meridian, right? Like Big Al's. God bless Big Al's, right?
Yeah, right.
The village, you got all kinds of things there that people are attracted to. They got In-N-Out, God, one love. I love it. God, it's still the best. It's got a special place in my heart. So you have these draws. Nampa doesn't have a draw at the same level, right? Like you have this event center, but what's in the works for smaller, more attainable economic boosts in the area?
There's a push in Nampa through I know council and through our Urban Renewal Commission that I'm on to kind of start looking now at downtown Nampa again as far as revitalization. And we can come in with urban renewal, do the infrastructure. And once all of that's in and updated, then the developers will start looking at that ground and those older buildings and hopefully come in and invest in downtown Nampa like they have in Caldwell. That started with urban renewal in Caldwell. What Meridian's done downtown and at 10 Mile, I understand, is from urban renewal. So Nampa's now focusing, seems like, more urban renewal projects on the core of downtown Nampa.
So the idea would then to be like, look, we're not going to tell what businesses where to go. We're not going to tell developers where to go. What we're going to do is try to improve and make the earth as fertile as possible for economic activity so that you have outside investors that come in. They're like, man, I think we could put like, a hotel or a restaurant or a multi-use like condo, apartment, coffee shop, whatever, and just start investing in that. And that allows people the free market to work.
Yeah. Yeah. People want to live, work, and play in one area now. Happens in Boise. We've got a son who loves living in Boise and rides his bike to work, walks to work, runs home, walks home from dinner with friends. You love it. Has a great job. And people should do that in Nampa. People want to do that in Nampa. And it would help with housing. We're building apartments like crazy, but not downtown yet, so necessarily. So I think that is part of the answer for Nampa.
Do you have, with a housing attainability, home ownership attainability in Nampa, do you think there's a push or is there a desire for developers to start producing more affordable housing products, right? Because everybody's holy grail is like a 3-2, right? Everybody wants 3-bedroom, 2-bath, have 2.5 kids. Yay. Like the whole bit, right? And like, God bless it. I don't think there's a problem with that. But that's really tough as the first property. Right. Or it can be more difficult, especially if, like, say you're just, a couple with no kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like you could live in a 2-bedroom, townhouse or something, or a condo or something as your first home, and then start working up towards it. And that may not be something that people prefer to do. Right. Like I think everybody wants to go to the, first stop is the last house I'm going to ever live in. Yeah, sure. That's great. But most of us mere mortals have to work up to that style of home ownership. Right. So is there a push, or is there a call for more, attainable kind of starter properties that people can get their feet wet with home ownership, build some equity, and then keep moving up?
I heard that, but I'm not plugged in with that part of the community, the developing and builders, and I'm really not. But I know there's a push for that. That's why but developers are coming in, putting in apartment complexes and condos and things. So yes, I guess there is an appetite for it because we're seeing a lot of them.
When you're looking at a place like Canyon County that has a large agricultural base, and you have industry, you have agriculture, you got a lot of things like that. If you don't bring density, if you have an increasing population, if you don't bring density, you start encroaching onto those spaces. And that's when you have a lot of conflict, because then, I've heard these crazy stories of people like housing developments being built next to a farm, and then the farmer is doing farm stuff in like the middle of the night. They be like baling hay. Yeah, like 2 a.m. Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah. And it's so funny. I had a buddy of mine in the Cattlemen Association who was texting me. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I wake up to, like 10 more texts from him because he was like in, baling hay all night long. Yeah. It's just hanging out. And he was like bored out of his mind. Yeah. It's just like had to text somebody like to say something. And it's like, then he didn't get back to me till 6 p.m. the next day because he was sleeping. But you have problems where you push housing and you're like, okay, we could build a 20 house development right here, but then you have all of this conflict, right? So it's kind of a trade-off. People, I think, categorically don't like density, but then the trade-off is this huge conflict with the industry. Like, what's the balance that you can strike there?
It's tough. It's tough for government. I know the city of Nampa struggles with that all the time because Canyon County is very unique soil. We have very unique soil in the world. We grow seeds in Canyon County that they just can't grow anywhere else, like seeds to use to replant other high-producing crops around the world. It can only happen in certain parts of Canyon County. So we have to be conscientious of how much we do build over the top of that land. It's because it's a big deal, not only for Nampa and for the valley, but for the country and the world.
Yeah, it's like sweet corn seed or carrot seed and stuff.
There's a bunch.
Like there's a bunch of them.
Sweet corn, popcorn, carrot, celery, sugar beets. I mean, everything is in that valley is kind of unique to that valley.
I saw Sugar Beet Sam this morning.
The
Sugar Beet Sam. She's the head of the Sugar Beet Growers Association.
Sugar Beet Sam.
Yeah, Sugar Beet Sam.
I've never heard her called that.
Right, because you have a Potato Sam. Apparently, one of the guys for the Potato Association is also named Sam. So they just went to like Potato Sam and Sugar Beet Sam.
Oh,
but like I'd much rather be Sugar Beet Sam than like, oh, it's Potato Matt. Like, I want to be Sugar Beet Matt.
Now, potatoes aren't bad. We have a couple guests here today.
Yeah, listen, I'm not against potatoes. Like, I'm all for potatoes. And dude, the Spuddy Buddies, obviously. The America 250 push. Yeah. I talked to somebody the other day. He's like, I just made my reservation for July 4th in Washington, D.C. I'm like, what? And he's so pumped about America 250. He's like, this is it, man. He's like, I'm not going to be alive for America 300. This is it. So he's taking his kids, like he's taking his wife, and the enthusiasm people see. What's interesting is enthusiasm for the United States is an odd thing. I was talking to a friend this morning. He has a cousin, and the cousin lives in Portland. And somebody talked about like getting a band shirt that had an American flag on it. And there's this perversion of patriotism, where in areas like Portland, if you wear an American flag around, you're like anti-patriotic, because patriotic to them is to like call out all of the problems with the United States, but like not like, hey, we have some flaws, you know, warts and all, but like God bless America, right?
Right.
And it's so cool to see, you know, like the state government of Idaho and just the state of Idaho, the culture being like, no, man, this is it. Like, this is wild as hell. And like, we have been on this crazy adventure that the world has never known before, you know, the experiment of self-governance. And like, this is 250 years of making it.
Yeah. It's so big. We're starting it now. We're not waiting till next year.
Dude, it's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
So again, taking all this into consideration, what do you think? Do you think that there needs to be a changing in the cultural view of density in an attempt to preserve the agricultural uniqueness of Canyon County? Because again, a lot of people criticize. Somebody who was running for county commissioner years ago was like, well, these cities are building, you know, apartments because like Democrats like apartments, and like that's the only reason they're building them. And I'm like, okay, like he made my head hurt. I was like, I can't right now. But you know, like that is a concern that people have. They're like, we like home ownership. That's totally fine. But we don't get it both ways. We don't get home ownership and to preserve the fertile earth that is hyper unique to Canyon County.
Yeah, we have to look at that. I think everybody, you know, all the communities in and around Canyon County need to get together and try to figure something out, probably with the farm community, on how we can do this. So I grew up in Nampa in Canyon County. I'm fourth generation from there. So I grew up with all the farm kids, right? I was one of the few city kids, you know, big Nampa of 20,000 or 15,000. Yeah. So I was that kid, but talking to one of my friends who still farms out south of Nampa, he said, when I started getting into politics years ago, he said, are you going to get in there and tell me that I can't sell my land someday as a farmer? Like, no. And we can't. I mean, we can't do that. So how do we give them the autonomy to do what they want to do with their land? Because, you know, they're 65, 70 years old. They want to retire. They have retired. Their kids don't want to farm. Their neighbors don't want to farm their farm. What do they do? So that's the issue. Or now it's in the middle of a lot of subdivisions, and it's really difficult to get machinery in and out of there. And now you have neighbors with a fence,
2 a.m.
with a fence, like calling the cops on you. You know, he said it can be really difficult to farm in a community like that. So what do you do? So I think what we need to do right now is get together and figure it out, because nobody really knows what to do, or they would have done it, I think.
Right. That's a fair assessment. And it is an ever evolving problem. And you do need places for people to live, because things are getting more expensive. And, you know, like, I'm party to that. Like, I moved here, and I'm sure I affected the housing market to a degree, however small or large it was, you know, like that's, you know, but again, going back to America, I was like, but we're American.
We all did that at one point, right? When my family came out west in a wagon to Nampa, they took somebody's land. You know?
Where did they move from?
They came from Kentucky.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So we should really just call you a Kentuckian. Like, that's really...
Is that what they call that?
I don't know. This was really funny the other day. And people have since stopped. People in general have like let go of the whole... Like, people want to criticize me, like, he's a Californian. It's like, it's like, and there's like people largely, give me something else. Like, I have a lot of things to criticize. Like, you're taking the lowest hanging fruit that's easiest to deny. Like, criticize my haircut, which nobody ever sees because, you know, the hat. Anyway, but this guy, it was really funny. First off, this guy tried to like criticize me online, and then all these people came to my defense. They're like, nah, he's all right. And it cracked me up too. It was like, you know, I live in Idaho. I pay taxes to Idaho. My kids go to Idaho schools. Like, I have a small business in Idaho. I vote in Idaho. It's like, if you want to call me a Californian, you might as well call me a Martian too. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Did you know the first white person that was born in Idaho was born to parents from California? That's a fact. Yeah, swear to God. Not the first person born in Idaho, obviously, but the first white person. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Dr. Emily Wakefield. She's a historian, a BSU professor. She actually educated me on this. She was like, there are a lot of misconceptions about Idaho. Like, we've had this tenuous relationship forever.
So we can blame that person on the
Oh,
migration.
1,000%. That person that's patient number 0.
Yeah.
I had never thought about that. Yeah. He was like, man, it's not too bad up here. Yeah. It's a good time. So bottom line, economic growth and housing growth, it's to be determined, right? Like what the solution is, how it's going to pan out. There's no crystal ball at this point.
It's got to be market driven, or it won't happen. But it's got to involve the communities who it's affecting. It really has to. So they have to be able to sit down at the table, talk, and make sure the ag people are involved, city people, and everybody that's urban renewal commissions.
Right.
Everybody needs to be at the table.
A little bit of a hot topic, but you ran a bill this last year to modify rulings of lewd and indecent. And that stemmed from a festival that was held in Nampa in 2024. And a couple individuals showed up, ruined the party for everyone, obviously.
Yeah.
And you modified that law to change it so that Nampa, the city of Nampa, and the state of Idaho, in fact, now has precedents to address people that show up with like ridiculous plastic surgery and stuff.
Right.
Did that Pride Festival, did that happen again this year? Was there like a 2025?
Yeah, the festival happened.
And you had no
there was
issue.
no issues. So message received.
Dude, look at you. Effective legislation.
Weird,
It's
right?
almost like government worked.
Nobody got arrested. Nobody, there was no incident. And I called the chief the other day and asked him about it. And he said, no, there's nothing that needs to be done again. He said, that's all we needed to solve is that one issue. We're good.
Gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it got ironed out. And it's like, listen, if you want to go to the festival, you don't want to go to the festival, none of my affair. But there was that glaring issue that people are like, look, we really don't like this. And you took that up, and a lot of people testified in favor of it. And it's like, okay, great. We got it ironed out. Nobody found a loophole. And we just all move on with our lives.
Yeah, right.
Man, what a wild time.
How it should be.
Yeah, it is how it should be. One last question. Nampa is, and again, I know you're not like mayor of Nampa, but it's within your district. Nampa is a large population base, and I think it passes the 100,000 threshold that would make it fall into the purview of Senator Galloway's public camping ordinance, which is like, look, you can't, if you're a city of over 100,000, people can, file a petition or, with an attorney general if they don't feel that you're taking public camping seriously enough in order to drive out the overutilization or utilization of all of public spaces as camping grounds for people that don't have houses. It's like, no, we have shelters, we have Boise Rescue Mission, we have all kinds of different places. Has that been an issue since that's rolled out in Nampa that you're aware of?
I don't remember it ever being an issue. I've heard of people camping in Nampa, but I've just heard about it and I have never seen it. So I don't know if it happened or where it happened, but I don't think it's an issue in Nampa at this point. So,
potentially just more of an issue in, say, Meridian or Boise.
Potentially. Yeah.
But not something that Nampa has to worry about.
No. Not now. I shouldn't say shouldn't have to worry about, but at least right now. It seems like,
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you for coming. I should call you Representative Cornilles. We're out of session. I'll just call you Jeff.
Just call me
Jeff.
Jeff.
Listen,
it's summer.
Right? It is. God,
Yeah.
listen, this summer was so lovely. Like, I don't know if it was just that it was a more agreeable summer than last year, but the weather seemed so great. Like it definitely got hot, but man, we were outside having such a great time all summer.
Yeah, so were we. Yeah. That's the sunburn and
God bless it. It's the best. Thank you for coming in today. Is there anything you'd like to hit? I know we talked about a lot of different things, primarily economic driven, but anything else?
No, I think we're going to be after taxes again this year, reducing our taxes.
Do we have more we can reduce? I would love to understand this. Like because we got into a pickle, didn't we? Where it was like, hey man, hold back a little bit of money. Like everybody get ready for like a 4 to 6% reduction in budget.
Right.
And, first off, do you think that's going to actually come to bear where, people have to let people go and they really, have to reduce their budgets?
I don't know. But I know people are just dying for more tax relief. Everything's going up. Housing, food, everything is increasing. So the more we give back to people, the better.
Sure.
So we're going to do that. I would assume this year. I've talked to the speaker earlier, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to be working on taxes and budgets."
Man, I don't disagree with you. The more you could, like, if we could pay zero taxes, that would be great. As long as we could maintain the things that make Idaho great, which is law and order, some degree of public education, all of these things. And again, I don't know anything about budgeting, especially at the state level. And I don't know about all the polls, but it's just wild. It's like, wow, people have been very concerned. At least I've spoken with some people. They're like, look, we may even be able to get through it this year, maybe next year, but at some point, if the economy takes a turn, we're going to be in a really bad spot. Is that a concern of yours, or do you think that there will be enough in rainy day funds and whatnot?
We do a good job of rainy day fund, and I think any tax cuts we pass are going to be reasonable.
Sure,
they're not going to be drastic tax cuts. I don't foresee anyway. So I don't think that's going to happen. And Idaho's got such a strong economy, one of the strongest economies in the nation. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Right. But if it does, I'm not overly concerned. No.
Yeah, and part of the reason the economy is strong, at least I was educated on this, is that we have such a strong ag base, and ag doesn't go away. If you're a tech sector, like you got a .com bust, the entire thing goes away. Well, we're not going to have like a sugar beet bust.
No, potato bust.
Yeah. Well, potatoes are getting fed to cows right now, so like if you went, like the market, I was actually going to have a gentleman by the name of Galen Lee in recently. I have him in again. He's a sugar beet farmer, and sugar is getting hammered, as are potatoes. Apparently, like Lay's stock is down or something. I don't know.
Really?
But and in effect, what happens is in the event that potatoes trade for cheaper than they should, they end up selling them to like, cattle. So like cows apparently love potatoes.
Interesting.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah. Did you know grizzly bears eat potatoes too? It's a tuber, right? So they eat roots and stuff. Oh. And so you have instances of like potato farmers getting hammered by grizzly bears.
Wow.
Only in Idaho.
Only they're kind of built like a potato.
Yeah, you're right. And they eat like carrots and stuff. I don't know. Bears are crazy. Anyway, Jeff, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to covering this next session again. This last year was the first time that I really covered it. And it's like, man, I learned so much. You came in as well as so many other people. So thanks for coming in again, especially in the off session. And we'll do it again.
Glad to do it.